Okay, so let's create a class called test file. Okay, that I have created inside the package com.training.java.basic.io. Okay, so in this class, before I will start anything, let me tell you what detail about file. So let's open the class file. So file is the class which is serializable and comparable. It means that you can compare two files. Okay, if you see the methods, what it has a lot of methods. Okay, so it has few constructor file taking string, that is a name of the file. Okay, and when I say name of the file, it has the path also. Okay, and then we have file which is taking two parameter string and string. First string is called parent and second one is child one. So when I say parent, that is kind of a folder. Okay, the child will be a file. And third constructor, that will be taking file as a parent and child as a string file name. Okay, then we can create file using URI. Okay, URI is kind of a location where you can give the location, and based on that it will create the file. And then it has few methods like get name, get parent. Okay, you can get the name of the file, you can get the parent of that file, means it will give the name of folder. Okay, and it will give you the parent file. Okay, so parent in Java, everything is as a file. So that file could be a directory also, so that will be denoted in Java in terms of file. So file will let you know that it is a directory, it is a normal file. Okay, so when I say get parent file, that will give the file instance of that folder. Okay, then it will have get path. It will tell you it is absolute or not. It will provide the absolute path. Okay, absolute file, canonical path, canonical file. Okay, then it has method can read, can write, exist. So exist will tell you that the file which you are trying to use for reading or writing, it is there or not. Okay, then uh, it will tell you that it is a directory or not. Okay, it will tell it is a file or not, it is a hidden, it is last modified, that time it will give you the time when it was last modified, what is the length of that file. Okay, create new file, when you try to create a new file you can delete it. Okay, delete on a exit, once you exit then it will delete. Listing the files, well, suppose you want to list all the files inside a folder, that you can use the list method. Okay, then you can use the list by providing some file name filter. Okay, so then we have something called make directory, and then we have make directories, renaming the file, set last modified, then set the value of last modified, set read only, set write table, set write table. Okay, there are two parameters in set write table, boolean and boolean, and in this there is only one. Okay, we will see the detail here. The purpose of to showing is just to know about a lot of capabilities of the file methods, file class methods. So set readable, true or false. Okay, set executable. Okay, so like these are the kind of permission setting. Okay, can execute or not. Okay, list routes, get total space, how much space is occupied by that file, how much free space is there, and how much usable space. Okay, suppose I want to find out directory in C drive, how much total space, how much free space, how much usable space, that you can find out. Okay, then we have temporary directory as that is private class, private static class. Okay, and that has some methods. Okay, generate files random location and all those things. uh, it has some method like create temp file, create temp file by passing the variables number of arguments, compare to file, that is to compare one file to another file. Okay, equivalent hash code, that is coming from object, to string is from object, write object, read object, and few more variables, and say to path. So the lot of methods are there. I would suggest you to go through each method and try to understand and try to use that, and try to map with your problem whatever you are trying to solve, eh, related to files, and see if you can use these methods. Okay, so let's play with few methods of them. Let's create one main method. That is the first thing we do to test something. Okay, so here let's create one file. File f file is equal to new file. The name of the file I will put as, say, test.txt. Okay, this is the file I have want to create. I have given the name of the file here. Here the name of file that I have given as a string. Okay, so here this name of the file, it will include the location of that file where I want to create. Here I have just given the name of file. So if I have not given any location of this file, it will use the root of this project. Root of this project is nothing but this training. So it will create one file inside this folder, training folder. If you see the location of this training folder, it will be this location. Say in my file structure, this is what I have. I will run it and see it here. So right now there is nothing called test.txt. Let's run it. So if you run this file, I have no SOP, system.out.println, so it will not show any output in the console. Okay. So let's see that file is created or not. So file is created or not, how we can see? We have a method called file.exist. It will tell you that your file is there or not. On this location, this file is there or not. So let's see. The value is coming false. It means that file is not yet created. Okay. If I go to that folder structure here, I don't see any file. So file will be created. This is when I say new file, it will create one instance of the file, not the file as a physical file. To create a file physically, you need to put some effort. One is, after creating the instance, you write something in that file, and then close it, the output stream, because output stream is required to write something into the file. Okay, here other way of creating the file is, we have a method called file dot create new file. So once you create the instance of that, then you say create new file. Whatever exception it is coming while doing the file handling, I am throwing the exception. So this line is expecting one uh, IO exception. Okay, so I will throw that exception on the method level of main. Okay, now let's run it. Oh yeah, now it is saying that file existing true. It means that now file is created. If I see the directory structure here, I could see that file with 0 byte, nothing is there. Okay, So if I refresh this, I can see one file created over here. Now let's create one folder for first. So to create a folder, let's folder is again a kind of file. So I will say folder is equal to new folder, sorry, new file. Then the name of the file is I'm giving io test. Okay, and because I'm creating a folder, what I will do, I will say that make directory. Okay, so I will create this folder, make directory, and then I will create this file inside this directory. So what I will say, I will say, when I say new file, I will give the parent file as a folder, then create this test.txt. Let's run it. Let's refresh it. So here you saw that one folder has been created, that is iotest, and inside that text.txt has been created. Let's remove this. This is the file created when I ran the program last time. Okay, now it says that file.exist. Okay, now let's try to run it again. If you see the last modified, let's print the system dot sysout dot println, say file dot last modified, that is this value. Okay, and if you see here the instance, let's refresh it. Io test has been created at 4:20. Now time is 4:21 here. Now let's run it again. It is same, last modified is same. So whenever you run this program, new file will create the folder or file if that is not existing. If it exists, then it will not create the file. Okay, so how do we know that it created the file or not? When you call this method file dot create new file, it will give you true or false. False means there is that file is already existing, so it will not create a new file. So here the first output, that is for file dot create new file, it gave the false. Okay, let's create another file, test underscore one dot txt, in that same folder. At the time we should say true because that file is not there, so it will create it. And that file was last modified is this value. This is coming as a long value. Okay, so if you see here, test one has been created, and that is created at 4:22 p.m. Right? So now, now let's see what is the path of this file. File dot get path. Sorry, get path. So let's remove. Let's comment other lines. So IO test, that is a path. This path is a relative path. Okay, this path is relative path. Relative path means if you copy this and go to your command prompt and say run, you will not able to find this path because this is not a absolute path. Here it is relative path. Relative path means this path is from where it is, from in what relation it is giving the path. It is giving relative path to this training folder. So inside this training folder I have iotest, and inside that I have test underscore one dot txt. Okay, so here that is the relative path. If you want to find out absolute path, there is method called get absolute path. This will give you the full path of your txt file. So this is the actual path. Once I open it, I should be seeing that file. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's we know that test.java test file.java I have created. Okay, so let's give the path here, and here I'm not going to create that file. So test file.java, it will not create here because I have not used create new. Okay, so if I say, if I use a gist method, I should be getting false, right? Because this Java file has not been created. Let's give the location of this Java file. The location of this Java file in terms of relative, it is com. So it is inside src. Okay, then it has com. Okay, then it has something. Let's copy the package itself. Okay, let's give, let's not give any parent here. Okay, so let's see what happens. So now this file is available there, the location where I have given, so it is giving true. Okay, so this is the absolute path. Let's open that in while running from here. So whatever you have written here, you will get. Okay, now, so we have talked about last modified and all those things. File is just absolute path. Okay, let's check that the file which I have created, that is directory or file. So for that there is method called file dot is directory. When I say is directory, it should be false because that is a Java file, it is not a directory. When I say is file, it should be true. Okay, so that way you can check. Now let's see if I have is absolute. Is absolute will tell you that if the path of that file is absolute or not. So here the path of file is relative. Okay, so it should is absolute should give you false. Okay, because the path of this file is relative. Relative means it is from training. It is relative path here. When I say absolute path is this one. So let's give the absolute path. Okay, so here there is way you can provide the how will you give the path in string. Okay, so when you write a string inside this separator, inside this comma. Okay, so what you need to do whenever you are using slash, this slash, you have to put double. Okay, otherwise it will give you compilation problem. It's not a comma, it's double quote. Okay, this is double quote, this is not a comma. So you have to provide double slash, this forward slash. Okay, then you will get rid of your compilation problem. Okay. Okay. Now, if you run it, you will see that absolute path is coming true. Yes, it is absolute. So other way of doing is, instead of doing this double forward slash, you can use single backward slash. Okay. So if you run this one, there is no impact. Only thing that the way we can either give the double forward slash or single backslash. Okay, so this is pretty much about basics of file. So let's try to play more. Let's try to see how much space your C drive has. So let's create one file. Let's say that file. Okay, let's create something here. So file drive equal to new drive, new file. Okay, let's see that drive dot. There are few places. So there are few methods which will give you the how much space it has. So what is that file? What is that method? Get total space. So total space in C drive, that seems 80 GB. Let's see it. Okay, it's a 75 GB. So this will give you in terms of byte. So once you calculate, it will come around 75 GB. So let's do one thing. Let's divide it by 1024. That makes you KB. Then divided by another, let's make you MB, and another 1024. Okay, let's see it. So it will give you 75 GB. So the space is 75 GB. It is total space. Let's try to see few more things. Let's copy it and say that get free space. How much space is having? Is it free? So free space will come around 15 GB. Okay. So what is other method related to space? Usable space. Usable space means how much have been left, how much you can, sorry, how much it is usable. Okay, free and usable are two different things. So let's see what is usable space. So here usable space is 15 GB. So all the free space is usable here. Okay, so so there are these APIs. We see that it has a capability to know about what is the how much space and all those things. So you have seen how to create the folder. You have seen how to see the detail of your drive, and you have seen that how to create the files inside a folder. See something else. Let's see that. Let's say that. Uh, okay. Let's comment it, this portion. Now, so this test file.java, let's make it this file dot, let's make it read only. So file dot set read only. Okay. When I say read only, let's run it. Now if you see this IO test folder and go to here, let's refresh it. Sorry, it is test file.java. So we need to go to this location. I'm looking at wrong place. So I need to go to this folder, or let's try to see property from here. So it is read only because we have made it read only. So let's remove it because I have made read only. I'm trying to change this file. I'm not able to because it says that read only file encountered. So I am making it writable. Then I can change it. Now I am commenting this line to make it read only. So now my file is not read only. Now if I change, I can do it. Okay, let's make it again read only and run it. Then try to change it. It says that it is read only. Okay, so this is very much powerful capability you have in this file object, file class. Now let's try to see all the files I have written uh, in this training. So I need to list all those files. For that, what I will do, I will write one method saying that, okay, let's run it because this is I have made read only. So let's remove it. Oh, I'm not able to do anything. I cannot even type also because it is read only. So let's remove it. Read only from here. Okay. Now I will remove this line. This line can cause some problem while writing something on this file. So let's remove it. So what I'm talking about, let's create one method which will list all the files inside a directory, inside a given directory. So let's write one method private. I don't want to access outside of this class. I'm making a static and void and say list files and taking that directory as a parameter. Okay, so let's first what I need to do, what is the validation I need to do. I need to say that first of all, whatever directory I am passing from here, is it really a directory or not. So if directory is file, then it means it is wrong. So what I need to do, I need to do the validation. I'm throwing one exception here. Throw new illegal argument exception. I'm saying here bad request, because I'm expecting directory as a directory. Okay, so if it is file, then I'm throwing the exception. If I'm throwing the exception because it is a runtime exception, caller has not to handle any exception. Okay, so whatever operation I will do after that, say int I is equal to 0, because if it is file, then we'll throw the exception and it will come out of that method. So anything after that will not be executed. So this code is, it is worth code only if I'm passing the real directory. Okay, so what happens if I pass a real directory? So while directory dot list, so it will give you list of files. So I will say list files. Okay, so here it will give you file. So I will say that I will use one enhanced loop and saying file, that is, I will run through till directory dot list files and print out file dot get absolute path. Okay, so what will happen, let's run this program and let's comment it everything else, then call this method and pass the location of this src. So I will say src, I'm giving a relative path here. Okay, what is the compilation problem? It takes file, so I have to say new file src. Let's run it. So here what is happening, this file is a directory and it is just printing com. Okay, it is not printing anything else, because it is not doing, it is doing just one level of drilling down. Inside src there is first one, that is com. Okay, so com, it will see that src is directory. Okay, then it will print com here, but I am expecting to print all the things inside this src folder, include com, then all the files. Okay, then this directory and all the files, and like that. Okay, so let's do something else. Okay, so it is only in the src folder, only com is first thing which is coming here. So in src folder, if you see, that is the first thing it is coming as com. Okay, and then it is trying to print that it is not a file, it is a directory. So it will come here and it will print the files inside this directory. Okay, so but that is not our purpose. Our purpose is to list all those things, so we have to change the approach here. So what I will say, if directory is file, then print the path. Okay, but if it is, let's make it directory, else it means that it is a directory. So list down all the files, that could be again directory. Okay, so then call this method again in the recursion. So I will say list files and pass this file inside that method. So wherever it will find the file, it will print. If it finds the folder, it will it will drill down its files and then print the file. Okay. If you run this program, let's see the output. So here it has listed all the things. It looks like little messy. So let's print only path. That is relative path. So it looks better. So if you see here, it is src com test import, src com test package, training, Java basic, all the files you can see here listed over here. Okay. So in this way, this is also very much powerful um, concept where you can drill down and list all the files in pretty easy way. Suppose you want to see the details of any directory, you can do it. So here, let's try to find out inside, say, com, then say training dot java dot, sorry, slash java slash basics. Com dot training slash java slash basics. This thing is okay. So why null pointer exception? Oh, this is not the relative path. So we have to say src slash. So here it will give you the all the files inside this com src com training java basics. Okay. So let's try to do something bigger than this. Let's try to list um all the files in rt.jar. Okay. So let's take a look on rt.jar where Java has been installed. So it is gre lib. So this is the rt.jar. Let's copy this jar file and put into say C drive and paste it, and let's extract it also. So I will extract into test RT. It's a huge jar file. It has around 54 MB. So let's try to list all the classes. Okay, so it is extracted. So it is extracted here. So I'm interested in all classes inside this folder, Java folder. Okay. So let's give the path. I am going to give the absolute path. So either I will do like this or I can convert it to backslash. Okay. So now let's try to run it. Something wrong. Oh, path is not correct. So let's run it. Wow. So here, let's try to copy this content into some file. So this is the all the classes inside this rt.jar. So if I want to find out file dot class, I'm looking for file dot class. So that is zip file dot class, jar file dot class. So I'm looking like java slash io. So java slash io is not here. Let's go back to directory. Okay. So it seems that in this console there is no space to print the detail, all the details. So that reason IO package it is not listed here. Okay. I think there is something I need to change in this preferences. So console buffer size is coming 80,000. Let's change it to maximum. Let's apply it and run it again. Let me check if I get that file dot class. Yes. So here you see that this is file dot class which we are exploring here. Okay. So this is where you can list down all the content inside a folder. Okay. So this is kind of a utility method which you just need to pass the directory. If that directory is file, then just print the file name. Otherwise, just iterate it again. Okay, call this method in the recursion way. Okay. Now, so let's let's instead of saying get path, let's print the name. So we will say dot get name. So if you see the output, it will just print the name. Okay. Now, now something interesting. Now if I want to delete few files, let's delete file dot java file dot class. So we say that if that file dot get name dot equals file dot class. Okay, then sorry, it should be this logic should be here. After printing this name, I should say if that class is file dot class. Let's print only that file dot class and then remove this file, delete. Let's run it. So file dot class is only printing here. After drilling down all the content inside a folder, it is printing only file dot class. And now let's run it again. So it did not print anything because that file has been removed. File dot class has been removed. So this is where you can delete the file also. Okay. Now let's remove this. Let's print it other files. Let's put it on top of here. Let's remove this one. So instead of saying get name, let's print some get parent. Let's print it and see. So here it will give you the name of the folder where that file exists. Okay. So here it will give you most time it is giving just package name. Okay, that is nothing but folder where class file exists. Fine. So let's try to see what is the longest uh, file name. So what is the longest class name inside the rt.jar? Okay, so here this is the place where I will say get name. Okay, so if I say get name, I will only printing the its name. So out of let's put it in inside this file. So if you see here, few class files are very big name. So for example, this one. This is very big, very much big. But it is some kind of a inner classes like collections. Then it has unmodifiable map, then unmodifiable entry set, then unmodifiable entry dot class. So this is not we are looking. We are looking for a single class which is having the biggest name. Okay, so let's try to make some logic to get to derive that. Okay, so this directory name, let's try to get this directory name inside. Before doing this, let's try to understand. So suppose this, if I take the example of this class, that is this big one. Okay, so here the actual class name is unmodifiable entry dot class. Okay, let's put it this class inside here. So this class, this is having collections, then dollar. Dollar will tell you that the subsequent class name is the kind of inner class. Okay, so collections inside that we have unmodifiable. Let's try to look at collections. So collections inside that, if you see here, sorry, it's not collections, it is collections. So let's open collections class. So inside this, there are there are other like unmodifiable collection. These are the like inner static classes. So and there are other classes also, unmodifiable set and other things. So these are the inner classes. So once you in this string, we are only looking for final class. Okay, so final class is the we are trying to find out the length of the biggest class. Okay, so that way we are trying to find out this last value. So how to find out a last value like this from the string? So for that, what I will do, I will say that string name is equal to directory dot get name. Okay, then I say name is equal to name dot substring name is equal to name dot, sorry, this is line is blocking, so let's comment it. So I say that substring, the begin index will be name dot index of, instead of saying index of, we need to say last index of, last index of dollar sign. Okay, then plus one, then we need to say name dot length. Okay, let's print it, this name, instead of directory dot get name I should say just name. What is the problem here? Now fine. Okay, now if I run it, I should be seeing all the classes over here. Okay, so here out of these classes I need to find out the longest file name. So for that, I need to, what I need to do, I need to collect all those file names and then sort them based on their length. So what I will do, I will create one dummy class here, class line. Okay, which just has a string name, or instead of saying, I will say file name. Okay, it just has name, and this class will implement comparable. Okay, that should be as file name. So let's add compare to method. So compare to method, what it will do, it will say that if this dot length, this dot name dot length minus o dot name dot length. Okay, I want to put maximum, the biggest length on top. So what I will do, I will return the other way. So I will say o dot name dot length minus this dot name dot length. So this will give me in the decreasing order of the length. It will sort the collection based on the decreasing order of the length of the file name. Okay. Now, while iterating it, let's create one class. Sorry, create one list of file name. New array list. So the type of this array list, I will say file name. Why file name is not visible here? Okay, now it is fine. So I'm creating one list with, that is correction of file name. So instead of printing on the console, I will just add into that list. So I will say list dot, so this is static, so let's make it private static. Okay, then I say list dot add file name, so that is new file name and giving this name. Okay, let's create one constructor. So that constructor, let's set it this dot name is equal to name, rename it. Okay, now I have added that file name into that list. Now once I'm done, what I will do, after doing that in main method, let's say that collections dot sort list. Okay, once that is sorted, I will say get. Then I say after sorting, then I say list dot get 0 because max length is on top. So I will, because that is ordered in the descending order of the length, that is sorted based on the descending order of the length. So let's print this value. Let's comment it, then run it. Oh, okay. So this file I need to, this is the file name which is on top. So I should print the length of that file. So list dot get 0 will give you the file name. Then we say name dot length. Let's print it. That is 67. What is that file? The file is, let's print the name also. Okay, so that name of that class which is biggest length in rt.jar, that is java underscore beans underscore bean context underscore bean context support underscore persistence delegate dot class, and that length is 64. Okay, similarly you can find out in any other package also. Suppose I want to find out, say in java, instead of java I want to find out in javax. So let's keep the path of javax. So in javax, let's see which one is biggest. Wow, it is internal frame title panel maximize button window not focused state dot class, that length is 63. So if I see what is uh, what is in org, in org folder, what is the biggest one? So it is 40. So yeah, I could give till here, but that could be like very huge computation, but still let's try. So in out of all the packages, inside Java, we have this class which is uh, with the maximum length, that is 67. Okay, so we have discussed a lot about how to do the file handling so far. So far, a file can be folder. If it is folder, how to drill down and drill down recursively to find out detail of all the files. Then we just extracted the rt.jar and then listed down all the classes inside that jar, and then we saw that which classes that most that which class name is longest. Okay, so we have played, I think, a lot with file handlings here. Okay, now I will be explaining about streaming in the file, which is most important. But what is that is also very much important feature of file handling. That is how to read the a file, existing file, and how to write into a existing file. Okay, if file is not existing, we will create the file and then start writing into that. And what are the different ways to read and write the file? Okay, then we will look for some exercise on that.